Good morning, folks. It's a spectacular fall day here in Downingtown, and I think let's do some more storytelling. Good morning, folks. Thank you for tuning in on whatever medium you choose. I'm trying to sound like a pro that has more views than I do, but anyway. So a couple of logistical things. I've changed like the canvas from being landscape to portrait, and that's interesting because nowadays, like a few years ago, portrait was really sort of the outlier. I mean, most people did anything serious on landscape. Nowadays, though, with phones, it's all changed. Everybody now, sees most of content on phones, and that's portrait 9x16. So I'm going along with the trend and now shooting raw in portrait mode. So interesting. Let's get into it. So absolutely stunning day here in fall. Apparently we've got another day tomorrow that's going to be like this. But it's just so beautiful, so nice when the weather's nice. Any day now it's going to change, and it's going to go into sort of later fall, and then of course we get the leaves, which is beautiful, and the weather's okay up until sometimes up into December, and then then January, February, those are the tough ones. But anyway, so beautiful day. I have my Springbok shirt on today for my American friends. I wanted to talk about the popularity of rugby in the rest of the world. In the US, it's actually gaining popularity fast. It's one of the fastest growing sports, but it's definitely nowhere near even soccer or lacrosse or any of those sort of non-major sports in the US. Never mind the big ones, but in the rest of sort of certainly the like British Commonwealth and then other countries like France and Argentina, rugby is huge, and it's obviously the precursor of American football, NFL. But rugby's like in South Africa specifically, and in countries like Wales, in New Zealand, obviously rugby is like a religion. It's a massive deal, and South Africa has sort of been one of the traditional strong countries, top tier countries, along with New Zealand, Australia, England, France, but currently Ireland are actually number one in the world. South Africa, I think, is number 3 or number 2. And France makes up the rest of the top 3. New Zealand took a bit of a stumble, even though they're on their way back again. You can never count New Zealand out. And South Africa are the world champions currently, and next year is another World Cup here. So that could get interesting. I don't think South Africa are the favourites, but they're definitely going to be one of the stronger teams. And so I can wear the shirt because we beat Argentina yesterday in the Tri-Nations. It's not Tri-Nations. It's now the Rugby Championship, and that's the Southern Hemisphere equivalent of the Six Nations, you could call it. Very high quality of rugby, very typically very strong. And currently New Zealand and South Africa are vying for the championship. I think we both have the same amount of wins, but I think New Zealand has one more bonus point than we do. But so it's all to play for next week. Next week is going to be determining. We're playing Argentina again, and they're playing Australia, and so it's come down to the wire again. So often it's between New Zealand and South Africa. So yeah, that's the rugby shirt. Now the rugby shirt, I have it on as part of a segue into sort of the main story that I have. So the main story that I have is about Prince William, and I thought it would make an interesting topic now with the passing of the Queen, which is sort of the news of the last couple of weeks. Obviously there's the whole queuing thing, but we won't get into that. So, yeah, it's how this started is, I was in the UK, lived in the UK for a number of years. I'll make that a different, different story. But I had a friend I have a friend rather, who's a very good friend. We grew up together. We vacationed together. It was, a very, very good friend of mine. He was an incredible rugby player. He played for the Springboks, I think about 16 tests. And his career was kind of cut short, with some policies and things like that. But he was an exceptional player. He eventually went on to have a successful career in Europe as well. Very, very fast, very dynamic, made the game of rugby beautiful. There's a lot of complaints from folks that rugby can be, especially sort of in intense games, it can be an arm wrestle, and it comes down to technicalities, penalties and things like that. But when you get a player that can spark a back line, and cut through sort of the defense, and he was a fullback, he was an attacking fullback. Really exceptional to watch. I'll see if I can find some video footage to post. And he had a very good season, the first couple of seasons for a provincial team in South Africa, and immediately people knew this guy was going to go places. But we remained friends, and to this day we're good friends. He's in the UK now, so. Because of his rugby sort of chops, this was at the time of the tsunami, just after the tsunami happened, I think it was I can't remember the date now, that's terrible. But I want to say, anyway, it was I'll have to look it up. I'll post the date on here. But it was right after that Boxing Day tsunami. And so there was a charity match that was sort of put together by some folks, and he was selected to play in this match. And so he got us tickets. He got me to some tickets, and I brought a friend with. And we went to the game. It was a great game. I think he actually played. He had a very good game himself that game. But then these were VIP tickets, and so afterwards we went to like a dinner, a fancy dinner, and it was pretty cool. I mean, there was it was sort of good food and a nice venue and stuff. I think it was still there. Actually, one of the guys that we were with during the game, he said he ran into Prince Harry at the bathroom, in the bathroom, and we were laughing at this guy because we thought he was making it up, and he was kind of starstruck and stuff. We just didn't take it seriously, and so then so we go to this dinner, and the table next to us had like a bunch of big guys, like formal guys that looked like CIA type folks, or MI5 or 6 or whatever it is, and they were standing around the table, and we couldn't understand why they, what are they here for? Are they going to sit down? So that should have given us a little hint. And then so a few folks do speeches, as you do with these things, and then it kind of ends, and we eat, and people start mingling, and so then. Before you know it, like here we see Prince William and Prince Harry like mingling in between us, and it wasn't like like some of these formal VIP things where you get the talent or whatever you want to call it, the celebrity standing in the front, and you can kind of ask them formalized questions. They discuss it. He was like in among us, and just hanging out with like the boys kind of thing, and so, people started to approach him, and, everybody had manners. Nobody kind of stayed too long or misbehaved or did anything weird, so they allowed it, and I thought, I'll go and chat to the guy as well. And I walked up, and it was me and the other guy that went to this, with my friend, not the rugby player, but another friend. And so we walked up to Prince William, and we started to chat, and he was just so easy. I mean, he was just so, like, genuinely friendly, and, just very sort of, no airs or graces, just willing to chat. And it was funny because where I'm from in South Africa, there's a extremely beautiful nature reserve near us with like all the big five, lions and all things like that. And I know his brother did some charity work there, kind of, in the on the quiet side. They don't always want people to know about it. Obviously there's a security thing, and then it kind of doesn't make, allow him to do the work. But, So I somehow mentioned to Prince William that I'm from the Eastern Cape in South Africa, and then he started to talk about this particular game reserve. It's called Kariga Game Reserve. Actually, it might have been, that's the one that I have in my mind. It might be one of the others. There's a few extraordinary ones out there. If they want to sponsor this video, no, it's absolute paradise out there from a wildlife standpoint. And there's a few. There's Sibuya, there's Kariga, there's a couple of beautiful game reserves out there. And he started to talk to me about the one that they'd visited. So they visited one of them, and we talked about like some things that they saw, and he was asking about the rain season. So definitely a knowledgeable person. And they've had a long history, the royal family, with Africa. And I don't know if people saw this, that Prince Elizabeth did her first official speech was from Cape Town, South Africa. And South Africa has a sort of very significant, not always positive, sometimes negative, relationship with the UK. I personally have gained a lot of benefit from it, and I think a lot of people like it. Some people don't like it, but it's definitely been there. And so they definitely have had exposure to Africa, and especially the area I'm from, which meant we could have sort of a short but very sort of nice conversation. And I was struck by how easygoing he was. Now here's a funny story about it. The funny part of it is, so I'm not going to mention any names, but the friend that came with me, he actually talked to William as well, right after I did, and again, very easy thing. But then, as you do when you're a bunch of lads like that, you stood around like in a circle, and you just started to talk. And then this friend of mine said to Prince William, I really wish to be one of your subjects one day. And it was such an awkward thing to say, and I mean, and the guy didn't mean it as a joke. He was trying to be sincere, because he was like, he'd been living in the UK for a while, and he was trying to get or he was in the process of getting citizenship, all good, but the way he said it, just like, and there was like an awkward silence for about 5 seconds, and then it kind of kicked back in. Now that I'll never forget that as long as I live. It was so funny. But and again, Prince William was so easy about it. He was just a very decent, nice guy. And I mean, I kind of, this is with a pinch of salt, but I would have, I definitely wouldn't mind if he became a King of England one day, so that I could say that I've met the King of England. And who knows? Maybe he tells his friends that he met me. I don't know, but I kid. But yeah, that was a very, very nice sort of exposure to someone like that. And I thought it'd make a good story. I thought people would be interested to know how much of a human he is. I mean, you don't always kind of see how people are in an informal setting, and I thought that was really good, sort of hanging with his rugby mates. They are big rugby fans, but rugby supporters, but unfortunately they support England, who I do not support, but still good folks, very, very nice, pleasant folks. Anyway, that's my story. I hope people find this interesting. Thanks very much.